Do you remember the last time your body felt light, energized, and full of life? Maybe it was a spring morning you woke up early, made yourself a cup of coffee, and strolled through the garden behind your house. Your feet moved swiftly, effortlessly, as if your body didn't need a second thought to move. But then, slowly, things began to change. Getting out of bed each morning started to feel slower. The stairs you used to climb without thinking suddenly felt like a challenge. And you started to wonder, is this just what happens when we get older? Barbara thought the same thing. At 72, she had always been a strong, independent woman. But recently, she began to feel like she was losing that sense of control. She hesitated to go outside. She forgot little things halfway through, and her legs, they just didn't move the way they used to. She told herself, maybe I'm just getting old. Maybe I just have to accept it. But one day, Barbara asked herself a new question. What if there was a way to regain the freedom and strength within my own body? In today's video, I'm going to share with you 12 simple yet powerful habits, all proven to help improve your mobility, boost your energy, enhance your memory and sleep, and most importantly, help you stay independent and free for years to come. You don't need to join a gym. You don't need intense workouts. And you definitely don't have to accept a body that gets weaker with age. You just need to begin with small, gentle steps. So if you're ready to live your later years with strength, flexibility, and peace of mind, stay with me. Barbara's story is just the beginning. Your journey starts right now. 1. Why you're slowing down, and it's not just age. It's not because you're getting older, it's because you've stopped moving. Barbara used to think she was slowing down because of age. When she turned 70, things began to change. It took her longer to get out of bed in the morning. Her legs didn't move as quickly as they used to. Sometimes, during a walk in the park, she'd have to stop, rest her hand on a bench nearby, and take a few deep breaths. Maybe my body just isn't what it used to be, she thought. Maybe this is just what happens when you get older. And so, she began doing less. She skipped her morning walks, avoided going upstairs, spent more and more time sitting on the couch. But what she didn't realize was this. It wasn't her age that was weakening her body, it was the lack of movement. The truth is, slowing down isn't always about aging, it's often about inactivity. The human body was designed to move. When we stop using our muscles every day, they don't simply rest, they begin to break down. It's just like a car that sits in the garage too long, the oil thickens, the battery dies, the tires go flat. Not because the car aged, but because it was never taken out for a drive. Science has proven this. Older adults can still build muscle, improve endurance, and increase flexibility if they keep moving. Age is just a number, not a sentence. Barbara only realized this after a routine doctor's visit. Her doctor smiled gently and said, "Your body isn't aging too fast, it's just responding to how still your lifestyle has become." That moment changed her perspective. And it could be the moment that changes your journey too. Your body isn't broken, it's just waiting to be reawakened. So instead of asking, how do I get back to how I used to be? Start with this question. What can I do today to help my body start moving again? And that's exactly what we'll explore in the next part. Because being inactive is one thing, but the more you avoid movement, the deeper your body sinks into a downward spiral. We call it the inactivity spiral, and the sooner you break out of it, the better. Let's move on to part 2. 2. The inactivity spiral. How movement avoidance speeds up aging. The less you move, the more your body convinces you that you shouldn't move at all. After that doctor's visit, Barbara started paying closer attention to her daily habits. She noticed that some mornings, she would sit on the edge of her bed for 15 minutes just waiting for her body to feel ready. Her steps in the kitchen became more cautious, afraid she might slip. And whenever she felt tired, instead of moving gently to regain energy, she sank into a chair. At first, she thought she was resting to feel better. But strangely enough, the more she rested, the more exhausted she felt. And Barbara wasn't alone. Many older adults who were once active and independent begin to slow down, not because of age, but because they stopped doing small, everyday movements. Walking, gardening, climbing stairs. And slowly, their bodies begin to change. Less movement, weaker muscles, poorer balance, fear of falling, more sitting, even weaker. It's a spiral. And once you fall into it, every inactive day makes the next day harder. Imagine this. Your legs feel weak, so you rest. But because you sit for too long, circulation slows, joints stiffen, and your muscles aren't engaged. The next day, standing up is harder, so you sit more. And on it goes. It's not age that causes this decline, it's the habit of avoiding movement. Barbara used to sit for hours in front of the TV, never realizing she was slowly turning off one muscle group at a time. But then one day, she tried something small. She stood up once every hour and walked around the house for 2 minutes. After 1 week, her legs began to wake up. After 2 weeks, she could step up without holding on. And after a month, she confidently walked through the park where before, she had only stood at the edge and watched. Waiting to feel strong before you move is a trap. It's movement, even the smallest kind, that brings your strength back. Don't wait to feel ready. Just begin, then strength will come. And you don't have to start big. Just one step, one stretch, one tiny change in your routine. Because you'll start to see something magical when you do the opposite of what tiredness tells you. And that's exactly what we'll explore in the next part. Why you often feel tired even when you haven't done much, and how to break out of that fog without relying on coffee or supplements. We call it the energy trap, the sneaky cycle that makes you believe you need more rest, when in fact, your body is simply waiting to be reawakened. Let's move on to part 3. 3. The energy trap. While you're tired even when you do nothing, fatigue isn't always a sign that you need to rest. Sometimes it's an invitation to move. Barbara used to think that when she felt tired, the best thing to do was lie down and rest. And honestly, it makes sense, right? When you're tired, you should rest. But something strange started happening. Even though she spent more time sitting and taking afternoon naps, she still felt drained every single afternoon. Not just physically tired, but mentally foggy too. She'd wake up feeling heavy. She'd eat and still feel sluggish. The entire day passed in a dull haze, and by night, she couldn't sleep well either. Barbara had fallen into a familiar trap, the same trap many of us know well. The more tired you feel, the more you rest, the less you move, the more tired you become. It's called the energy trap. You might be in that trap if you feel exhausted, even though you haven't done much. You sleep 7-8 hours a night, yet still feel groggy. You find yourself thinking, maybe I'm just getting old, and start accepting that as normal. But here's the truth. Your body wasn't designed to lie still. Fatigue doesn't always mean you need more sleep, it often means you need more circulation, more oxygen, more movement, more life. When you don't move, your blood flow slows. Your body doesn't release endorphins, those feel good, wake you up hormones. You don't recharge your battery, you let it slowly drain. Once Barbara understood that, she changed her approach. She started drinking enough water, not just when she was thirsty. She adjusted her sleep schedule, setting a consistent bedtime and winding down earlier. And most importantly, she added a few minutes of gentle movement each morning. No running. Just raising her arms, leaning side to side, and walking in place for 3 minutes. After 1 week, that mental fog began to lift. After 2 weeks, the dreaded afternoon slump was gone, and she used that time instead to stroll through her garden. Your body is activated by action, not by waiting. If you want more energy, you have to generate it by getting your body in motion. You might feel tired today, and you might think the answer is more sleep, more rest, doing less. But try the opposite. Drink a glass of water, stand up, take a few steps. That's all it takes to start breaking out of the energy trap. In the next part, we'll uncover the one thing that makes the biggest difference between people who age with vitality and those who slow down with each passing year. It's not age, it's not genetics, and it's definitely not money. It's mindset. Let's move on to part 4. Rewiring the mindset. Age is not a barrier, where you'll discover how one small shift in the way you think can lead to big changes in the way you live. 4. Rewiring the mindset. Age is not a barrier. Your body may change with age, but how you think about yourself, that determines how you live. One afternoon, Barbara sat quietly on a wooden chair by the window, watching children play in the yard. A little girl, maybe 8 years old, was climbing up a tall slide, fearless, without hesitation. As she reached the top, Barbara smiled softly and whispered to herself, "I wish I were that young again." And then, she paused, because deep down, she realized that thought had been following her for years silently, but persistently. At my age, I guess I just have to accept it. I'm too old for yoga. I can't remember things the way I used to. But then one day, during a gentle fitness class at the community center, Barbara met Sarah, a 78-year-old woman who had broken her hip 2 years earlier. Not only was Sarah walking every morning, she was teaching younger people how to improve their balance. When Barbara asked, "How do you still have so much energy?" Sarah smiled and replied, "I don't believe in too late. I believe your body will do what your mind allows." And that's when Barbara realized something profound. It wasn't her age that was limiting her, it was the way she thought about her age. Science backs this up. People with a positive mindset about aging live, on average, 7.5 years longer than those with negative beliefs. Your thoughts influence your hormones, your heart rate, your motivation, and even your ability to recover from illness. In other words, you don't just think and feel, you think and become. Barbara began to shift her mindset. Each morning, instead of looking in the mirror and saying, "I'm old," she'd say, "Today, I'm going to do something that makes me feel alive." And she started trying new things. Her first ever yoga session, planning her own healthy meals, writing down one thing she was grateful for each day. Not because she was trying to go back to who she used to be, but because she was finally moving forward with a mind no longer afraid of aging. You don't need to change your whole life in a day. You just need to change how you see yourself, and everything else will start to shift. So if you've ever thought, "It's too late for me. I'm too old to start something new. Maybe I should just accept how things are," pause and ask yourself, have I ever truly really tried to believe in what I'm still capable of? In the next part, you'll see what happens when your mind is ready, but your body hasn't yet caught up because it's still running on empty. Because no matter how positive or proactive you are, if your sleep isn't restoring you, it's like trying to run through fog. Let's move on to part 5. Sleep like you mean it. The overlooked superpower where sleep isn't just about rest, but your body's most powerful biological recharge system that you might be missing out on. 5. Sleep like you mean it. The overlooked superpower. You don't just sleep to rest, you sleep to restore. Barbara used to think that sleep was just sleep. Just close your eyes, drift off, and wake up the next morning ready to go. But as she got older, she realized it wasn't that simple anymore. Some nights, she tossed and turned for no clear reason. Other nights, she thought she had gotten a full 8 hours, but still woke up feeling groggy and drained, like she hadn't rested at all. And sometimes she'd wake up at 1 a.m. and just lie there, staring at the ceiling until morning. She started to worry, am I sleeping the wrong way? That's when she discovered a truth most of us overlook. Sleep isn't just about shutting down, it's when your body turns on its deepest repair mode. During sleep, especially deep sleep and REM, your body regenerates cells and repairs muscle tissue, cleans out toxins in the brain, helping you stay clear-headed and focused, balances hormones from insulin and cortisol to leptin and melatonin. Poor sleep interrupts that entire restoration process. Barbara's doctor told her, "You're not feeling weaker because of your age, you're feeling weaker because your body hasn't had the chance to fully recover." So that day, Barbara decided to start over. But this time, she didn't begin with food or exercise, she began by taking sleep seriously. Here are the 3 changes she made, simple things you can start doing tonight. She set a consistent sleep schedule. In bed by p.m., up at 6 a.m. even on weekends. Your body, like a child, thrives on routine. She created a bedtime ritual. No bright lights, no TV, no phone after p.m. She soaked her feet in warm water and listened to soft music, like easing herself into a dream. She reset her sleep environment. No screens, no glowing clocks, no distractions. Just a quiet, cool, peaceful space where her body could fully relax. And the results were nothing short of amazing. By the end of the first week, Barbara was waking up without an alarm. After 2 weeks, she no longer needed afternoon naps. And by the end of the month, she felt like she had an entirely new battery inside her body. Sleep isn't just the end of the day. Sleeping well is how you start over every night, from the inside out. If you feel like you're running on empty, it's not because you're lazy, it might just be that you're running on a drained battery. And sleep real, intentional, nourishing sleep is the recharge station you've been missing. In the next part, we'll talk about something that even great sleep can't fix unless you also pay attention to one sneaky habit that quietly drains your energy and mobility every single day: sitting too much. Let's move on to part 6. Sedentary living. Sitting is the new smoking, where you'll discover how simply standing up at the right time could slow down the aging process. 6. Sedentary living. Sitting is the new smoking. You don't need to climb a mountain. You just need to stand up more often. One afternoon, Barbara was sitting in her favorite armchair, reading her favorite book, when suddenly she felt a tingling sensation in her legs. She stood up, stretched, rotated her body gently, but the heavy feeling didn't go away. Then she glanced at the clock. She had been sitting, almost motionless, for nearly 4 hours. And it wasn't the first time. When Barbara started keeping track of her daily routine, she was shocked. Sitting for breakfast, 30 minutes switching TV in the morning, 1 hour eating in the afternoon, 2 hours dinner and relaxing, 1-2 hours settle. Over 8 hours of sitting every day. Sitting for long periods might sound normal, especially after retirement. But here's the truth. Sitting too much can be just as dangerous as smoking. Studies show sitting more than 6 hours a day increases the risk of early death even if you exercise. Long sitting sessions slow circulation, weaken leg muscles, and increase the risk of back pain, obesity, type 2 diabetes, and heart disease. The scary part, most of us don't even realize how much we're sitting. It's like a leaky faucet. Drop by drop, this habit slowly drains your mobility and vitality over time. Barbara used to think, I still walk, I still do some gardening, I'm probably fine. But when she started tracking sitting time instead of just movement time, she finally understood why her body still felt sluggish despite her efforts. So what did she do? She didn't add more exercise. She simply broke up her sitting time. Here are 3 small habits Barbara began, and you can start them today. Stand up every 60 minutes. She set a soft alarm and got up to walk a few laps around the house or stretch by the window. Pair movement with daily tasks. She brushed her teeth while marching in place, walked around while on the phone, stretched her legs gently while watching TV, redesigned her living space. She placed her water bottle far from the chair, kept her sneakers near the door, used firmer chairs that made it easier to get up. The surprising result? She didn't feel more tired, she felt more alert and flexible every day. Standing up didn't just help her circulation, it sent a message to her brain. I'm still here. I'm still moving. I'm still in control. You don't need to change your whole life. You just need to change your posture. Standing up is the first step to slowing down the aging process. So how long have you been sitting today? And when was the last time you stood up, not because you had to, but because you chose to move for your health? In the next part, you'll discover something surprisingly simple yet powerful enough to improve your mood, your bones, and even your sleep. Something free, easy, and often forgotten. Sunlight. Let's move on to part 7. Sunshine and vitamin D. Nature's free medicine, where you'll learn why just 10 minutes of morning sunlight each day can transform your health from the inside out. 7. Sunshine and vitamin D. Nature's free medicine. Sometimes, all you need to feel better is a little sunlight on your skin and a deep breath beneath a clear sky. One morning, while Barbara was watering her plants on the front porch, her neighbor, Mr. Harold, walked over with a bright smile. They chatted for a while, and then he asked, "Have you been getting outside much lately?" Barbara shook her head. "Not really. I mostly walk around inside, and the sun's been too strong." Mr. Harold chuckled, patted her on the shoulder, and said, "That gentle morning sunlight, it's the best free medicine for people our age." That comment stuck with Barbara, and when she looked into it further, she discovered something important, something many people overlook. We, especially as we get older, aren't getting enough sunlight. And that has a direct impact on our health. Vitamin D, often called the sunshine vitamin, plays a vital role in helping your body absorb calcium and keep your bones strong, boosting your immune system, supporting muscle function, and preventing falls, improving mood, and reducing mild depression. But as we age, our ability to synthesize vitamin D from sunlight drops significantly. Which means even if you sit by a sunny window all day, your body may still be missing what it needs if you don't actually step outside. Barbara realized she had spent most of her time indoors reading, cooking, resting, and she'd forgotten something simple. Your body needs sunlight to recover. So she started a new habit: 10 minutes outside every morning. No long walks, no big effort. Just her tea, a chair on the porch, and the gentle morning sun warming her skin. After 1 week, her mood felt lighter. After 2 weeks, she began sleeping better. And after 3 weeks, even the mild aches in her shoulders and neck started to fade. Sunlight is a free medicine, but you have to choose to step outside and receive it. Just 10 minutes a day can shift your entire physical and emotional state. And if you're concerned about UV exposure, just remember, go out before AM or after 4 PM. Expose just small areas of skin like your hands, arms, or neck. You don't need long sessions, just consistency cases. Your body doesn't only need water, food, it needs movement. It needs the rhythm of life itself. And once you welcome that sunlight back into your day, once you feel your energy begin to return, you'll start to realize something even more important. It's not just sunlight that gets you moving again. It's strong, steady legs, the very foundation of your independence for years to come. Let's move on to part 8. Strength is freedom. Simple leg exercises to keep you moving, where you'll discover how to build and maintain leg strength so you can go wherever you want, even into your 70s, 80 seconds, and beyond. 8. Strength is freedom. Simple leg exercises to keep you moving. When your legs are strong, the world stays wide open. One morning, as Barbara was getting ready to go out to the garden, she bent down to tie her shoes and felt something familiar. A heaviness in her knees. A slight unsteadiness as she stood back up. Not pain, just unfamiliar. She stood slowly, took a few cautious steps, and thought to herself, am I really starting to get weaker? That's when she remembered her old friend Margaret, now 83, who used to be energetic, cooking, gardening, and walking to the market every day. Until one day, she tripped slightly on the doorstep and fell, breaking her hip. Just one fall and everything changed. Margaret could no longer move around freely. She needed help regularly. What saddened Barbara the most wasn't the accident, it was what Margaret said afterward. I neglected my legs for too long. That was the moment Barbara made a decision. She wasn't going to let that happen to her. Because she understood something vital. When your legs grow weak, it's not just your steps that slow down, your entire life begins to shrink. Did you know? After the age of 50, we can lose 1–2 of muscle mass each year without exercise. And the most important muscles for standing, balancing, and preventing falls. Your leg muscles. But here's the good news. You don't need a gym. You don't need fancy equipment. All it takes is a few minutes a day right at home. Here are 3 simple exercises Barbara did every morning, and you can start today. 1. Chair squat. Sit down on a chair without leaning back, then stand up without using your hands. Repeat 5 to 10 times, slowly and steadily. Activates your thigh and glute muscles, key for getting up and sitting down. 2. Seated leg lift. Sit on a chair with your back straight. Extend one leg straight out, hold for a few seconds, then lower it. Switch legs. Do 10 repetitions per leg. Strengthens your quadriceps, helps with balance and leg endurance. 3. Heel raise. Stand next to a sturdy surface like a counter or a chair. Rise up onto your toes, hold for a few seconds, then lower slowly. Do 10–15 repetitions. Builds your calf muscles, supports circulation, and stabilizes posture. Barbara started with just 5 minutes a day. After 1 month, she noticed it was easier to get up from chairs. She could go upstairs without holding the railing. And best of all, she felt in control of her life again. Freedom doesn't come from youth. Freedom comes from strong legs, no matter your age. So yes, you can start today. No complex workouts. No long sessions. Just stand up and let your body remember what strength feels like. Little by little. In the next part, we'll explore something just as important. Keeping your legs strong is the first step, but keeping your balance is what helps you move with confidence, without fear. Let's continue with part 9. The balance secret. Preventing falls. Before they happen, where you'll learn how to stay steady on your feet. So you don't just move, you live with strength and stability every single day. 9. The balance secret. Preventing falls. Before they happen, good balance doesn't just keep you steady, it helps you live boldly, without fear. One afternoon, while Barbara was dusting the kitchen shelves, she reached for a glass placed a bit higher than usual. It was just a simple movement. But as she stood on her tiptoes to grab it, she suddenly felt unsteady. Her heart raced. She froze. It wasn't dizziness, it was a loss of balance. Barbara sat down, took a deep breath, and asked herself, what if this is the first sign? What if I can't catch myself next time? She used to believe that balance was something you either had or lost. But then she discovered something important. Balance isn't a fixed trait, it's a skill you can train. In the US, statistics show 1 in 4 adults over 65 experiences a fall each year. Falls are the leading cause of serious injury and loss of independence among older adults. And it's not usually due to slippery floors, bad lighting, or loose shoes. It's often because the body can no longer react quickly enough to regain balance. Fortunately, Barbara acted early. She joined a gentle Tai Chi class at her local library where the focus was on slow, mindful movement and breathing. After just a few sessions, she began doing a few simple exercises at home. Only 5 minutes each morning, but her sense of control started to return. If you want to train your balance too, here are a few simple exercises to get started. 1. One leg stand. Hold the back of a chair lightly. Lift one foot off the floor and hold for 10-15 seconds. Switch legs and repeat 2 to 3 times. Builds reflexes and strengthens deep leg muscles. 2. Tandem walk. Walk forward, placing the heel of one foot directly in front of the toes of the other. Take 10 slow, steady steps with your back straight. Activates proprioception, the body's sense of position, which tends to decline with age. 3. Weight shift. Stand with your feet shoulder width apart. Gently shift your weight from one leg to the other, holding each side for 5-10 seconds. Trains your body to adapt to movement and maintain balance during daily tasks. Barbara realized that balance is a form of freedom. She no longer hesitated when stepping off a curb, no longer held the grab bar while stepping into the tub, and most importantly, she no longer lived in fear of falling. Nothing ages us faster than the fear of falling, and nothing makes us feel younger than reclaiming our stability step by step. If you've ever avoided a few steps because you didn't feel steady, this is your moment to reclaim that confidence. Not through brute strength, but by reconnecting with the ground beneath you. In the next part, we'll explore something surprising. Keeping the body steady is one thing, but keeping the mind calm and flexible is just as important. Let's continue with part 10. More than just exercise. A way to find peace, where we'll explore the deeper side of movement and how the body and mind can heal together. 10. Food is function. Eat to move. Not just to survive. You don't just eat to survive, you eat to walk, to smile, to fully live each moment. At a routine checkup, Barbara's doctor asked her, "How's your diet been lately?" She smiled softly and replied, "About the same as always, just something light to fill me up each meal." But when she listed the foods she typically ate, white bread, canned soup, some fruit, sweetened coffee, the doctor gently shook his head. "That's not wrong," he said, "but you're eating to get by, not eating to move and thrive." That comment made Barbara pause. She realized that as she got older, she had focused more on quantity and forgotten about quality. As long as she wasn't hungry, she thought she was doing fine. But the body doesn't just need to be full, it needs nutrients to function well. We often hear the saying, "You are what you eat." But as you age, that becomes even more true. After age 60, our bodies absorb nutrients less efficiently, metabolism slows, and muscle loss becomes more common. Without the right nutrition, you can lose strength without even realizing it. Barbara didn't fix this by eating less or by following a strict diet. She simply started eating smarter. Here's what she changed, one step at a time. 1. She added protein, not just carbs. At every meal, she aimed for at least one good protein source: eggs, salmon, chicken breast, lentils, or Greek yogurt. Protein helps preserve and rebuild muscle mass, essential for keeping your legs strong and steady. 2. She chose healthy fats. Instead of animal fats, she used olive oil. She added avocado to her breakfast and snacked on almonds in the afternoon. Healthy fats reduce inflammation, support joint health, and nourish the brain. 3. She drank enough water even when she wasn't thirsty. Barbara kept a water bottle on the dining table and reminded herself to sip every hour. Dehydration can make you tired, dizzy, and throw off your balance. After a few weeks, Barbara noticed more than just energy. She craved sweets less. She slept more soundly, and she woke up feeling lighter and more refreshed. Your body needs to be nourished not just to live, but to live well. Food isn't just what fills your stomach, it's fuel for every step, every smile, every restful night. You don't need to overhaul your whole kitchen. You don't need a complicated diet. Just start paying a little more attention. Choose this food over that one. Add a little more green, a little more protein, and a little more care into every meal. And once you begin to nourish your body properly, you'll start to feel it in every movement, from a lighter step to a stronger sense of stability. But there's something else that also needs nourishment, not through food, but through gentle movement, stillness, and deep breathing. Let's move on to part 11. More than just exercise. A way to find peace, where you'll discover how yoga and Tai Chi can not only improve flexibility, but also bring you a deeper sense of calm and inner strength. 11. Mind-body practices. Yoga and Tai Chi for strength and serenity. You don't need to move faster, just listen to your body a little slower, a little deeper, and a little more gently. The first time Barbara heard the word yoga, she chuckled. I'm 72, how could I possibly bend, stand on my head, or do the splits? But one day, at a community gathering, she came across a group of older women practicing slow, gentle movements. No one was twisting into knots. No one was dripping sweat. No one was competing. They were simply breathing in, breathing out, leaning gently, closing their eyes, and every single one of them looked peaceful. One of the instructors smiled and told Barbara, "You don't need to be flexible, just be present. You don't need to get it right, just be willing to listen." Barbara gave it a try. The first 5 minutes, stiff, awkward. But 10 minutes in, she noticed something changing, not just in her body, but in how she felt. The tension began to release, not physically, but emotionally. Aging often comes with quiet, unspoken fears. What if I fall? What if I forget? What if I'm no longer myself? Yoga and Tai Chi don't erase those fears, but they help you return to the present, the place where fear hasn't happened yet. Yoga helps you stretch muscles, reduce stiffness, and improve balance, lower blood pressure, and stabilize your heart rate. Most importantly, reconnect with your breath, the simple, powerful rhythm we often forget. Tai Chi is like a slow-motion dance through time. Gentle movements activate your deep, stabilizing muscles, strengthens your core, key to balancing every step. Every sweeping arm becomes a reminder that life is still moving. Barbara began each morning with 10 minutes of chair yoga, sitting tall, rolling her shoulders, tilting her head, raising her arms to greet the morning light. And she ended her day with soft Tai Chi under the porch, where she could walk in the wind without needing to go anywhere at all. When asked why she kept practicing so consistently, she answered, "Because every time I do, I feel whole again." Movement isn't just about becoming stronger, it's about feeling alive with purpose. And sometimes the gentlest movement is the deepest medicine. You don't need a yoga mat. You don't need a fancy class. Just a few minutes, a sturdy chair, a slow breath, and the intention to simply show up for yourself. And once you start tuning back into your body, your heartbeat, your breath, your inner stillness, you'll begin to understand. Aging isn't a retreat. It's a return to what truly matters. In the final part of this journey, you look back at everything you've done and realize that lasting change doesn't come from grand gestures. It comes from small habits, repeated daily, with love and intention. Let's move on to part 12, build a routine that sticks. Small wins, big results, where you'll learn how to turn all the good you've started into something you'll keep for life. 12. Build a routine that sticks. Small wins. Big results. Change doesn't come from doing a lot all at once. It comes from doing one small thing consistently every single day. On a beautiful morning, Barbara sat on her front porch, holding a warm cup of tea, the soft sunlight gently touching her silver hair. She looked down at the little notebook she had started 3 months earlier, a place where she recorded the small things she had done each day. A glass of water after waking up, 5 minutes of gentle stretching, a short walk around the garden, a protein-rich breakfast, a moment of stillness before bedtime. Nothing dramatic, no big transformation, just small things repeated with kindness. We often think that change requires something bold and massive. But Barbara had learned something essential. Sustainability doesn't come from intensity. It comes from rhythm. Habit science tells us the brain loves repetition. It forms new neural pathways every time you do something consistently. Small, easy to complete tasks are the ones that stick the longest. And the easier they are to start, the less likely you are to skip them. Barbara didn't wait for motivation. She chose something better. She just started, even if it was small. Here's how she built a new routine without feeling overwhelmed. 1. Attach a new habit to an old one. Drink water right after brushing your teeth. Stretch your arms while opening the curtains. Let your existing routines carry the new ones with them. 2. Track your tiny wins. Even if it's just standing up during a TV break or walking for 1 extra minute. Recording progress gives your brain a sense of momentum and makes you want to repeat it. 3. Forgive yourself when you miss a day. Some days, Barbara forgot to stretch. Some nights, she stayed up late. But she didn't scold herself. She said, "I didn't quit, I just took a lap." 3 months later, Barbara wasn't just stronger, she felt more in control, more confident, and more connected to her body than ever before. Not because she did anything extreme, but because she turned the right thing into the regular thing. There's no habit too small to matter. Every action you repeat today is a quiet message to your future self. So now, it's your turn. You don't need to change everything. Just choose one small thing and start today. Maybe it's walking for 5 minutes. Maybe it's drinking an extra glass of water. Maybe it's putting your phone down 15 minutes earlier tonight. Pick one and do it gently. And if you've made it to the end of this journey with me, congratulations. Not just for listening all the way through, but for taking the first step in your mindset. Before we part, I want to ask you something. Of everything we've shared, what's the one thing you'll start with first? Leave a comment, I'd love to hear your story. And if this journey meant something to you, please share it with someone you care about, because the small habit you begin today could be the spark someone else needs tomorrow.